This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
BPNG releases monetary policy statement. Potential for rice farming in Kairuku. And Governor Wenge requests for land. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Malcolm Waira. Thank you for joining us. The governor for the Bank of PNG, Elizabeth Genia, has presented the September monetary policy statement today in Port Moresby. Attendees comprised of diplomatic corps, financial institution reps, and private sector executives.
In an early morning breakfast presentation, the Bank of PNG Governor Elizabeth Genia presented the monetary policy decisions the bank has made over the past 6 months. Ms. Genia said there are still some works the Bank of PNG needs to do to improving the effectiveness of the monetary policy transmission mechanism. Meanwhile, she said the Kina Facility Rate, or KFR, was increased from 2 to 2.5% in May, accompanied with an increase in the cash reserve requirement from 10% to 11% of all deposits held with the commercial banks. In June, the cash reserve rate was increased to 12%, which resulted in increase of Treasury bills yield.
The increase in the CRR resulted in liquidity tightening to the extent that the yields on Treasury bill increased. And we saw for the first time in many years a steepening of the yield curve out to 12 months and beyond. The more recent increases in the KFR to 3% in August and to 4% in September helped alleviate some of the pressure on the steepening in the yield curve, while aligning our overnight policy rate with those of our major trading partners.
She further elaborated on inflation.
Headline inflation has been trending downward since 2023, reaching a record low of 1% in the June quarter of 2024. Headline inflation is something we observe at the central bank, but far more important for us is the underlying or core inflation measure. Core inflation measures, the trimmed mean and exclusion-based inflation, increased by 3.2% and 5.5% respectively. Inflationary pressures have become less broad-based, and we expect inflationary pressures continue to be driven by increases in the price of domestic goods towards the December quarter.
Governor said a tighter monetary policy stance is necessary to manage these inflation risks, but it will affect the wholesale interest rates on government's security increase significantly.
Following our tightening of monetary policy, wholesale interest rates on government securities increased significantly to pre-COVID levels, while the adjustment to deposit rates was much lower. However, we have observed that one or two of the banks have raised their term deposits to lure some of the major deposit holders. In the third quarter of 2024, the commercial banks' indicator lending rates were between 7.2% and 11.7%, with only one bank increasing its indicator lending rate during the quarter.
She said these lending margins are above global average, and it will be addressed in part with the increasing competition in the banking sector of PNG. This monetary statement is the last from the Bank of PNG under the current governance structure.
Meanwhile, Governor Genia also addressed the recent legislative changes to the Central Banking Act that was passed by Parliament last month. The recently passed amendments include a provision for the establishment of a new monetary policy committee.
The recent amendment gives the central bank the authority to prevent conflicts of interest, strengthen the independence of the audit and risk function, and require the central bank to provide an annual report to the parliamentary committee, and also central bank's financial reports to be tabled in Parliament.
Monetary policy will in future be determined by the new established Monetary Policy Committee, comprising of myself as Governor, our Deputy Governor, and three new appointees who are not members of the Bank of Papua New Guinea Board. This means that the independence of the MPC is further enhanced, with only the executive members, the Governor and the Deputy Governor, sitting on both the newly established MPC and the BPNG Board.
Ms. Gania said the membership of the committee and the board is decided by the head of state, acting on advice from the National Executive Committee and the Treasurer.
The three new committee members must now be appointed, and we hope this process will move forward smoothly and that the new committee is in place as soon as is practical. The changes to the Act also require the MPC to publish a statement after each meeting, including each individual member's votes and the reasoning behind their decisions. This will add transparency to the process of setting monetary policy and provide a greater understanding of the considerations behind the decisions that are made.
She further indicated that these legislative changes have clarified their objectives to make price stability a primary objective. Louis Mango, National EMTV News.
5 non-ex-official members were sworn in today at the National Capital District Commission Board at the City Hall.
Members sworn in today were Clemens Kanau for Union Representative, Pastor Buga Vekanda for Church Representative, L.C. Siki for Women Representative, Chi Scoville for Business Representative, and Kesley Mune for Settlement Representative. Following the swearing-in ceremony, NCD Governor confirmed that these members are not new to the board.
And so before us, you will see that on the part of the board, we have decided that we should retain some of the board members that have served before the amendment to maintain consistency, to maintain experience, and to maintain the success that we have been achieving, dare I say, for the last 16 or 17 years.
He warned them that they have extra work to do compared to other provinces.
It's a very important responsibility and journey that you all are taking. It's a public office. We have an extra responsibility over and I believe above all the other provinces or entities in our country, especially urban entities, in the fact that we are a capital city. The fact that we are a capital city, if I can continue, gives us that extra responsibility. We have to manage the city, yes, for the city residents, for all the stakeholders, but importantly for our capital, for our entire nation.
Governor Pakop further highlighted that NCD operates differently.
It's structured in a way that can represent as many stakeholders as possible. We are not structured like the other subnational governments or urban authorities in our country. We are a governance system of our own. So we all must understand this. We cannot operate like the provincial government. We are not under the organic law. We cannot operate like the other urban LLGs who are under the organic law and provincial and local level government. We are a law of our own. And it was designed that way. It's designed deliberately that way.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
The United Kingdom government has announced significant changes to its immigration processes that citizens of Papua New Guinea should be aware of. These changes include the introduction of e-visas and the rollout of the electronic travel authorization.
Starting from 8 January 2025, travelers from Papua New Guinea who do not require a visa to enter the United Kingdom will need to obtain an electronic travel authorization or ETA. It's crucial to note that an ETA is not a visa. It serves as a digital permission to travel but does not guarantee entry into the United Kingdom, which remains at the discretion of border officials. For those who do require a visa, such as individuals planning to study in the UK or who already possess a biometric resident permit or card, the process will involve creating a UKV account to access the e-visa online. The ETA will apply to all visitors transiting through or visiting UK who do not need a visa and do not have the UK immigration status. However, if a visa is required, an ETA will not be necessary. The introduction of ETAs is part of the UK government's effort to create a more efficient and secure digital immigration system, streamlining processes for millions of travelers annually. Eligible non-European travelers, including citizens of Papua New Guinea, can apply for an ETA starting 27 November 2024, with the requirement coming into effect on 8 January 2025. The cost of an ETA is €10, about 44 kina. James Guken, National EMTV News.
Kairuku District Agriculture Coordinator Thomas Owa has highlighted rice as the primary cash crop that can financially support the local population and their families. He emphasized that the community can mill and sell their rice.
The Kairuku district comprises of 3 local level governments, Kairuku, Mekeo and Kuni. Owa noted that the district possesses significant agricultural potential due to its vast areas of fertile soil.
So that rice will come and maintain them for the next 2-3 days, and then they can continue to do their business. So the rice is the main. Well, I always encourage my farmers. We plant short-term crops like rice, veggies. While eating this, it's our food security. We eat it, and then we work on the cash crop. We plant cocoa, coconut, rubber, or coffee. It's for the long term. Yes. We have bigger land mass that is staying idle.
Historically, Kuni was known for rubber production during the colonial times, and it is currently home to Abeda Agroforestry, which is cultivating oil palm. Owa pointed out the necessity of establishing a mill to facilitate exports from the LLG.
Rice is the main crop that can be grown throughout the whole district. Rice is actually a 3 months crop. So you say 3 or 4 times within a year you can plant. So on the same field. After 2-3 years you can rotate to another new area. But rice is the main. Because rice will help, we do household consumption as well as you can market. So,
in addition to rice, Kairuku has the potential to grow cocoa. Though the local market for these products pose considerable challenges. Mekeo is recognized for its betel nut production, but efforts are underway to introduce cocoa as a viable crop.
Our other district guys like at Rigo, they're doing, it's a private company which is growing Rigo rice there. So we can, be one of, be in that situation where we can grow our own rice and mill it here. Very nice rice. The billion itself is just abundant. It needs to be revitalized. Clear it up and let's get it up and running so that all our farmers around Kairuku can come and mill their rice. Or the buyers should be stationed there. So they buy rice and they process it, pack it, sell.
Owa also mentioned the comprising prospects for livestock farming in the district, stating that improved housing and access to commercial markets are essential for its success. With the right infrastructure and support, Kairuku district can harness its agricultural capabilities for economic growth. James Guken, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us.
Start your day the smart way with the new Smart Start Breakfast Biscuit. Whether you are busy or on a budget, Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits gives you a healthy and affordable breakfast to set you up for school or play. Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits are fortified with essential vitamins for body or brain health. They contain vitamin A for healthy growth and development, vitamin B6 for healthy metabolism, immune system and brain development, and vitamin B12 for nerve and cell health. Proudly made by Paradise Foods.
You get big data and big value with Telecom Good Pillar mobile data plans. From only 3 kina, you get 1 gig for 24 hours. And for only 150 kina, you get 130 gigs over a whopping 30 days. And with loads of Good Pillar data plans to choose from, there's a small, medium or large plan to match your budget. Dial *777# to subscribe. Telecom, connecting you anywhere, anytime.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henao, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
Remember the joy of playing with your toys as a child? At Money Plus, we believe that every small business deserves a chance to build and grow. That's why we offer asset financing.
Our chance to building something new, to see a different point of view. With Money Plus, we're ready to go.
Mipla Halivim Wari Belong You.
For generations, our families have enjoyed the fresh taste of Besta from our very own waters. Healthy, tasty, and made by our people for our people. Besta continues to be the pride of PNG because we make sure that all the goodness from our oceans remains in our hands. Besta, PNG's premier household brand.
At Telecom, we're boosting our network. Households will enjoy better connections, communities will get faster speeds and wider coverage, and business will profit from new towers and a more secure network. Plus, everyone will benefit from onshore storage that brings browsing home. It's all part of our ongoing billion kina nationwide investment. It feels good to be building a faster, stronger network for PNG.
Subsistence farming means you have most of the farmers are subsistence, like they produce only for themselves. It's not like a commercial scale.
Join us tonight at 7 as we feature discussions with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations.
If we give the technology to them, they can increase the productivity, and then it means each farmer will have something to eat.
That's on tonight. You're watching National EMTV News. Morobe Governor Luther Wenge, during a dialogue with member for Bulolo District, Sam Basil Jr., called for the resettlement of displaced people residing in Bulolo town since 2014.
Mr. Wenge said state land is a commodity that must be bought and sold freely, even when the leaseholder is unable to develop the land. Morobe provincial government is unable to properly resettle internally displaced people because it does not have the land that is readily available to them, said Mr. Wenge.
Today, we come assuring you, today, meet by holding municipal lands. When we talking about tomorrow, compulsory acquire the land which has not been used, state land in the Bulolo district, Bulolo town. Compulsory acquiring. You see, Minister, you are resting powerfully, you long compulsory acquiring.
He said the people who are displaced have been living in a care center for too long. Governor Wenge also appealed to the local Watut people to free up customary land that the provincial government can acquire, zone and resettle Bulolo's displaced people. He further appealed to PNG Forest Products in Bulolo to sell some of its unused land to the Bulolo District Development Authority to acquire and subdivide under the resettlement program.
You PNG Forest Products, you own plenty ground, you don't make use of it. You run the company here, you get some ground, you sit on a double ground, you don't develop it for many years. Every ground you don't police for you. This is a ground state list, talking English also describe him. Commodity. Commodity. What you can buy and sell. Case him to the ground, 10 producer list talking, you know, make him one and walk. You must make him want him walk. You got money long end, you must use him long. When him walk, you give him to the ground. Not going to hold him nothing, he's going to 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, the ground will and stuff. People are talking about this forest product, you sell your land. If you don't sell your land, state will acquire it compulsory. I have to settle the ZIPIC.
Bulolo MP Sam Basil Jr. echoed the call by Governor Wenge to the PNG Forest Products, but has confirmed that talks for land acquisition between the government and the Bulolo DDA is underway. Jessica Nui, National EMTV News.
The Public Employees Association of Papua New Guinea have raised concerns against the government regarding the log of claims for the public servants insurance for public servants and the SOE bill that was tabled at the floor of Parliament last month.
The Public Employees Association of Papua New Guinea has raised concerns against the government regarding employees' rights. The PEA president stressed on the importance of giving first priority to employees' health care.
The primary responsibility of the government is to provide service to its citizens, with healthcare services being a priority. Involvement in the life and health insurance business should be outsourced to established experts with existing systems, provide networks, develop products, and skilled workforce.
Meanwhile, the General Secretary stressed on the correct process in passing bills in the Parliament. This was said regarding the Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited Amendment Bill 2022.
On the podium, do the first reading, it's voted, they do the second reading, and they do the third reading at the same time, and that's dangerous for laws passed in Parliament. The process is that the amendments or laws to be passed in Parliament, there is a process to go through vetting before it goes to NEC and then to Parliament. And you normally have a first reading in one session of the Parliament, then the second reading in the next session, providing that they have the number to pass the laws. And then third reading comes probably on the third session of Parliament.
Given these observations, PEA strongly demands transparency, proper consultation, due diligence, observance of industrial relations protocols, and to withdraw the proposed bill. However, during the Parliament sitting last month, the SOE Minister William Dumas said the primary objective of the bill was to amend KCHL Authorization Act 2022 to formalize legal solutions that will recognize and balance the rights of the workers to go on strike. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
To commemorate World Teachers' Day with a mission to educate the children of Gulf Province, this is the story of how a volunteer teacher from Evara Primary School, Rodney Taria, sets out to revive the school.
Hailing from Pangaea, Southern Highlands Province, and attended Balob's Teachers College in Morobe, Mr. Taria said whenever the teacher left the classroom, he would pick up the chalk and pretend to be the teacher, and it was a lifelong dream of his to teach. He began his career in 1991 in Pangaea, where he was based for 3 years, and had transferred to Central Province, where he taught from 1994 to 2010. Due to family obligations, Mr. Taria resigned and became a volunteer teacher with the National Volunteer Services that had partnered with Total Energies PNG Limited since 2019.
Grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5, a total of 117 kids. I'd like to appreciate effort that Total has put into making success for my children who will be coming into this classroom.
His first class of grade 4 students consisted of 30-year-olds, the oldest being 34, splitting his time every day between 2 classes. He teaches community living, language, English, mathematics, environmental studies, physical education, and agriculture, and next year he anticipates to teach over 200 students. His first batch of students will graduate in 2027, and his ambition is to see the school upgrade into a junior high school. He has managed to attract a large number of students from the coast of Orokolo, Purari, Wabo, and beyond who opt to stay with family in Evara while attending school.
This classroom will be in good use and it will be fruitful for the children of Evara Primary School and neighboring villages that will be products of this primary school.
Claire Mauta, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has expressed his optimism about the progress towards establishing a Papua New Guinean rugby league team in the Australian NRL competition.
Prime Minister Marape had a series of high-level discussions in Sydney with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Minister for Sport Annika Wells, Minister for International Development and the Pacific Pat Conroy, Opposition Leader Peter Dutton, as well as other key stakeholders. The meetings took place ahead of last night's NRL Grand Final, further highlighting the significance of the discussions. Prime Minister Marape said he is happy with the progress so far. He commended the strong support received from the Australian Cabinet as well as the majority of the Parliament, including members of the opposition. He also acknowledges the substantial financial and administrative backing of the Australian government. The Prime Minister added that there are few more regulatory processes to complete before an official announcement can be made, but the future is looking bright for our national team. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Now we take a look at the NASFAR market report. The kina closed lower at $0.2548 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2473 US, 0.3604 Australian dollars, 0.2178 euro, 36.52 Japanese yen. Looking at the commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee close higher, cocoa close higher, copra close higher, palm oil close higher, crude oil is trading higher, copper close higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones close higher, the ASX 200 trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us.
Dear son, you ask me how I live such a good life. Yes, I've had some good luck, like the day I met your mother. But it wasn't always that way. I've made some good choices too, like working hard and keeping my super with NASFAN. They looked after it for me, which meant I could concentrate on looking after my family, living each day knowing that when the time came, I'd be ready for tomorrow. Love, Dad.
Enjoy more talk, more text, and more time online with Telecom More Bundles. Choose from 8 plans ranging from 3 kina with 600 megabytes of data all the way up to 75 kina, loaded with a massive 35 gig. Best of all, each plan comes with an unlimited on-network call minutes plus on-net and off-net talk and text. That's way more time to chat with family and friends. Telecom More Bundles. Top up now.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henao, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
Hi, I'm John Dangi. Join me weekly at 7 p.m. every Tuesday nights on House and Home as we talk about pet care, health and fitness, home improvement ideas, feature stories, pick a book, Atok Mom, and everything to do with home and lifestyle. That's House and Home, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights on your number one to watch, EMTV.
You're watching National EMTV News. Moving to overseas news, it's the final month of the U.S. elections campaign, and with 30 days to go, the polls are indicating a very close race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
The former First Lady's memoir due out in a couple of days, and as you'd expect, excerpts from the book being released ahead of time to generate some more publicity. This line on abortion is interesting. Melania Trump saying that she's always been in favor of pro-choice, of women being able to decide whether or not to have an abortion. Now, that's despite the fact that her husband boasts about stacking the Supreme Court, essentially, with judges who would eventually overturn Roe v. Wade, as happened in 2022. Now, it's not clear whether Melania Trump announcing this harms or helps Donald Trump in this final month of the election campaigning. Perhaps for those women in particular trying to decide whether or not to vote for Trump and concerned about his stance on abortion and about the tightening of access to reproductive services across the country. Perhaps they'll be calmed, somewhat reassured to hear that former First Lady Melania is saying she is in favor of abortion. So unclear whether there's strategy behind this announcement or not. Melania Trump saying, well, this book has been in production for many months. And she says that Donald Trump has always known that these are her views.
Yes, he knew my position and my beliefs since the day we met. And I believe in individual freedom. I want to decide what I want to do with my body. I think I don't want government in my personal business.
Now, Donald Trump is in the swing state of Wisconsin today. That's following a return to Butler, Pennsylvania over the weekend, the site of the attempted assassination in July. He always said he would go back to Butler, and he did that. He took some family members with him. And for the first time on the campaign stage, Elon Musk. The two men, of course, appear to have been getting closer in recent months and weeks. Elon Musk essentially bounded onto the stage and endorsed, of course, Donald Trump, urging people to vote. And the CEO of Tesla, the owner of X, saying in quite ominous terms that if people didn't vote, this would be, he said, the last election. But Donald Trump is definitely stepping up his campaign appearances as we've headed into this final month of campaigning.
The October 7 terror attacks in southern Israel and the ongoing conflict in Gaza continues to weigh heavily on both Israelis and Palestinians.
The survivors of the attack on Kibbutz Kfar Aza have not come back to live here. The ruins have not been touched. Kfar Aza, right on the border, was one of the first targets of Hamas. They killed 62 people here and took 19 into Gaza as hostages. That buzz is from an Israeli drone heading for Gaza. Later, we heard airstrikes. Bereaved families and a grieving nation were promised total victory over Hamas by their prime minister. A year on, Hamas are still fighting. The ground around one house has been excavated. It was the home of Nirel Zini, and his fiancée, Niv Raviv, both killed by Hamas. Nirel's father spent weeks looking for his son's head. He didn't find it. A neighbor said there was a nightmare on every corner.
We are still inside the trauma. We are not in post-trauma like people said. We are still here. We're still in the war. My victory, I will be here with my son and daughter, with my grandchild, and living peacefully.
For Israelis, Kfar Aza and all the other places that Hamas attacked on the 7th of October have become repositories of a very deep and still raw national trauma. And the horror that happened here has, for the vast majority of Israelis, absolutely justified everything that Israel has done since then. A year ago, Israeli troops were still fighting Hamas when they led us into Kfar Aza 3 days after the attack. The year of war since then ripped away any illusion that the Middle East could be peaceful without resolving deep-seated conflicts. Hamas fighters lying where they were killed were seen by Israelis as enemies funded by Iran to destroy their state. And the sight of dead Israelis being carried out of the ruins brought back the Nazi Holocaust that killed 6 million Jews. These soldiers were being deployed north to the border with Lebanon. A year later, Israel and Iran are in direct conflict, plummeting towards all-out war. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu promised a mighty vengeance. His defense minister said they were fighting human animals in Gaza and would act accordingly.
A massive blast outside Pakistan's biggest airport has killed 1 person and injured at least 8 others.
Pakistan's Home Minister has told local media that it appears to be a targeted attack on foreign nationals. Several vehicles were destroyed after officials say a tanker exploded outside the airport in Karachi. The separatist Balochistan Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for the attack. The group is known to target the thousands of Chinese workers in Pakistan involved in Beijing's multi-billion-dollar Belt and Road Initiative.
The death toll as a result of flooding in Bosnia has risen to 18, with more than a dozen still unaccounted for.
Torrential rain in central Bosnia over the past 2 days triggered landslides and widespread flooding when rivers overflowed. Rescuers are using sniffer dogs to try and find people trapped under rubble in the worst affected city of Jablanica. Teams from Serbia, Croatia and North Macedonia have arrived to support their Bosnian colleagues.
There was a power outage from 4 a.m. We didn't really know what exactly was going on. We heard the water hitting the house. The roof of the house was damaged, but that's nothing compared to this disaster that happened here close to the river.
A state of emergency has been declared in parts of Florida after forecasts warned of another tropical storm which could intensify and hit the already hurricane-struck Gold Coast.
The National Hurricane Centre says Storm Milton, currently off the coast of Mexico, could pose life-threatening hazards for parts of Florida's west by the middle of the week. Last month, Hurricane Helene, the deadliest mainland storm since Katrina in 2005, tore through southeastern states, killing more than 220 people.
Just in terms of preparation, you just got to do what you can early and just get out there, and it is what it is, right?
I'm out here to fill up my sandbags. I didn't do it last time, and this time I want to feel better inside my home and hopefully protect some of my stuff.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Accept the challenge. Choose PNG's favorite purified bottled water. True Wara, 100% PNG made.
Proudly bottled by Paradise Foods.
At Telecom, we're boosting our network. Households will enjoy better connections, and business will profit from new towers and a more secure network. It feels good to be building a faster, stronger network for PNG.
We are your total advertising provider. We are your trusted classifieds provider in PNG, providing print directory services to our customers since the inception of Telecom PNG in this country. Our customers are our assets. To give more value to our customers, we are now introducing the online classifieds, which covers both yellow and white pages. Get your business online now. It provides easy, accessible, and convenient service to all your customers. For all your advertising needs, call 325-8344 or email sales@yellowpages.com.pg. Yellow Pages, your total advertising provider for all your advertising needs.
For generations, our families have enjoyed the fresh taste of Vesta from our very own waters. Healthy, tasty, and made by our people for our people. Vesta continues to be the pride of PNG because we make sure that all the goodness from our oceans remains in our hands. Vesta, PNG's premier household brand.
You get big data and big value with Telecom Good Pillar mobile data plans. From only 3 kina, you get 1 gig for 24 hours. And for only 150 kina, you get 130 gigs over a whopping 30 days. And with loads of Good Pillar data plans to choose from, there's a small, medium or large plan to match your budget. Dial *777# to subscribe. Telecom, connecting you anywhere, anytime.
With God, comfort can replace pain, peace can replace turmoil, hope can replace sorrow. God loves you, God hears you, God speaks to you in your thoughts, in your heart, and through living prophets. Come, hear the words God has for you.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. PNG representative coaches Tani Norris and Jason Demetrio have named their representative sides for the upcoming Prime Minister's 13th match against Australian Prime Minister's 13th selections.
According to a statement, both the Prime Minister's 13 women's and men's squad will assemble in Port Moresby for a week in the lead-up to the international games taking place at the Santos National Football Stadium in Port Moresby this weekend. Women team coach Tani Norris said game against a strong Australian side is an opportunity for the PNG players to test themselves against some of the best players in the NRL as they prepare for the upcoming Pacific Championships. Norris said she is excited to see the talents in the squad come together to play. Norris also said the NRL players will bring a lot of knowledge to the side and is looking forward for the weekend. PM's 13 coach Jason Demetrio further shared same sentiments. He said the lineup is dominated by the members of the PNG Hunter side who made it into the preliminary final stage of the Host Plus Cup this year. Having the team back with the inclusion of Mora, who was injured in his opportunity when playing the Prime Minister's 13 match last year, Demetrio said the future looked bright for the men's representative side. Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
The New Guinea Islands Regional Youth Games, held for the last 5 days, saw a tremendous outcome from the district teams that participated in the inaugural games held in Kavieng, New Island Province. Gazelle District is leading with the highest number of gold medals collected.
On day 3 of the inaugural Youth Games, basketball, touch, footy, volleyball, and soccer were complete in their competition. Kavieng won gold in the men's basketball, defeating Kendrian in a tied game of 1 point difference, seeing Team Kendrian walk away with silver. Kokopo won bronze after defeating Namatanai with a whooping points of 40-26. In the women's division, KVN Team 1 grabs gold with 37 points, defeating Kendrian on 20 points. Kokopo's women's team also won bronze after defeating KVN Team 2 by 33 points to 22. On day 4 in the men's division, Touch Footy headed straight into the semi-finals with Kokopo winning gold, KVN silver, and bronze went to Rabaul, while in the women's division, gold went to Rabaul, KVN silver, and Rabaul also winning the bronze medal. Where in the men's volleyball, Nakanai won gold, Kokopo silver, and KVN bronze. And in the women's division, Rabaul won gold, Kokopo silver, while KVN won bronze. Soccer in its last game matches had Gazelle winning gold in both divisions, whilst Kokopo won silver in the men's division and KVN won in the women's division, with Manus winning bronze in the men's and Kokopo in the women. Meanwhile, the closing ceremony is ready and underway, where hosting province has overall won with the highest number of medals. Claire Mauta, Trukai Sports.
Meanwhile, the Gazelle District were deemed victorious in the inaugural NGI Regional Youth Games and were awarded the hosting rights for the 2026 New Guinea Islands Regional Youth Games. With their remarkable achievements in this year's games, individual efforts in athletics has 3 of the Gazelle athletes now scouted for the National Sports Institute.
Gazelle District in East New Britain Province emerged victorious at the NGI Youth Games, claiming the overall championship title with a resounding 10 medals. The district secured a strong 7 gold medals, 2 silver medals, and 1 bronze medal, surpassing the closest contestant, KVN. Gazelle athletes excelled in athletics and soccer. The games concluded on Saturday with the Minister for Community Development, Youth and Religion, Jason Peter, congratulating the athletes for their hard work and highlighted how important youth sports are for building community spirit.
NJ region and great potential. Thank you. Our leaders were all bringing me plakam lo soim disla potential where you plakat through lo disla medium.
Gazelle has set a standard for the next youth games as a testament to its district's commitment to sports development and their ability to host large-scale events. Claire Mauta, Trukai Sports.
After 12 rounds of thrilling action, the 2024 Premier Soccer League is shaping up to be an exciting season with Hekari United dominating the standings.
The Hekari United sits comfortably at the top of the table, clinching an impressive 32 points from 10 wins, 2 draws and no losses. With a goal difference of 26, Hekari United has scored 30 goals and conceded only 4, showcasing their dominant form both offensively. Trailing behind them in second place is Gulf Komara with 21 points, a notable gap of 11 points from the leaders. Gulf Komara has won 6 matches, drawn 3 and lost 3 with a positive goal difference of 6. Their ability to remain competitive suggests they could be potential challengers for the title, but catching up to Hekari may prove to be a tall order. Port Moresby Strikers FC occupied third place with 19 points, having registered 5 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses. Their solid defensive record, with only 12 goals conceded, will be a key as they aim to close the gap on Gulf Komara. United Islands rounds out the top 4 with 16 points, showing promise despite a negative goal difference of -1. Their challenge lies in tightening up the defense to climb higher. The rest of the league sees Ley City Dwellers, Ley City, Morobe Wabens and Admiralty Islands rounding out the bottom half of the table. Admiralty Islands in particular having struggled, managing only 10 points with a worrying goal difference of -13. Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break with Overseas Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Hilton Port Moresby Hotel and Residence. Hilton Port Moresby Hotel and Residence. Your stay, your house, your home.
Dear son, you ask me how I live such a good life. Yes, I've had some good luck, like the day I met your mother. But it wasn't always that way. I've made some good choices too, like working hard and keeping my super with NASFAN. They looked after it for me, which meant I could concentrate on looking after my family. Living each day, knowing that when the time came, I'd be ready for tomorrow. Love, Dad.
At Telecom, we're boosting our network. Households will enjoy better connections. Communities will get faster speeds and wider coverage. And business will profit from new towers and a more secure network. Plus, everyone will benefit from onshore storage that brings browsing home. It's all part of our ongoing billion kina nationwide investment. It feels good to be building a faster, stronger network for PNG.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henao, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
You're watching True Guy Sports. Moving to overseas sports, Penrith Panthers have beaten Melbourne 14-6 in the NRL Grand Final.
A lot of pressure going into this game. They claimed their fourth consecutive premiership last night, though. Sunia Taruva and Liam Martin scored in the first half, while Paul Alamoti crossed the line in the 60th minute. Liam Martin was the one who took home the Clive Churchill medal for his man of the match performance. The side of the first team to achieve the feat of 4 premierships in a row since St George won 11 in a row across the 1950s and 60s, and aren't they celebrating as well?
The Sydney Roosters defended off the fast-finishing Cronulla Sharks to win their second NRLW Grand Final.
Fresh off her Dally M medal win on Wednesday, Olivia Koenig opened the scoring for the Roosters, who got out to a 24-0 lead by half-time. But the Sharks set up the match for a thrilling finish. They scored 4 tries in the second half, but that wasn't enough. Roosters taking the win 32 points to the Sharks 28. Taryn Aiken took home the Karen Murphy medal as best on ground.
The Tasmanian Jack Jumpers were up against Perth's Wildcats. They had to overcome a really slow start against Perth to win their second game of the NBL season.
the Wildcats got out to a 14-point lead at the first break. Some strong shooting by Jordan Crawford got the Jack Jumpers back into the game in the second quarter, but scores are tied at 71-all at the end of regulation time. Tasmania, they were too strong in overtime. They ended up winning by 5 points. There was also another game on yesterday. The Taipans overran Melbourne United 101-88.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always Trukai. Trukai, true inspiration through generations.
At Telecom, we're boosting our network. Households will enjoy better connections, and business will profit from new towers and a more secure network. It feels good to be building a faster, stronger network for PNG.
For generations, our families have enjoyed the fresh taste of Besta from our very own waters. Healthy, tasty, and made by our people for our people. Besta continues to be the pride of PNG because we make sure that all the goodness from our oceans remains in our hands. Besta, PNG's premier household brand.
As PNG's only ISO-accredited bulk haulage operator, IPI Transport guarantees the delivery of your critical cargo. Equipped with state-of-the-art GPS tracking systems and backed by an experienced team, you can rely on IPI Transport, part of the IPI group of companies.
You get big data and big value with Telecom Good Pillar mobile data plans. From only 3 kina, you get 1 gig for 24 hours. And for only 150 kina, you get 130 gigs over a whopping 30 days. And with loads of Good Pillar data plans to choose from, there's a small, medium or large plan to match your budget. Dial *777# to subscribe. Telecom, connecting you anywhere, anytime.
Subsistence farming means you have most of the farmers are subsistence, like they produce only for themselves. It's not like a commercial scale.
Join us tonight at 7 as we feature discussions with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations.
If we give the technology to them, they can increase the productivity, and then it means each farmers will have something to eat.
That's on tonight.
For more than the life we've known, there is more to what the future holds. You need holy man to walk one time. Oh, 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 oh. We dare to believe in incredible things. Oh, 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 oh. With money plus we're ready to go.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
The weather report for the next 24 hours. For the southern region, Port Moresby City partly cloudy with possible evening showers and drizzles and thunderstorms. Poponeta cloudy with few showers. To the Momasa region, Lee City partly cloudy with possible evening showers and drizzles. Vanimo cloudy with possible showers and drizzles and possible thunderstorms. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau cloudy with chances of brief showers and drizzles. Buka cloudy with possible rain showers and thunderstorms. To the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, partly cloudy with possible evening showers. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, evening rain showers and possible thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Monday, the 7th of October, 2024. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Golden